What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Unexpected Season 5, Episode 13. He Thinks He's a Man. So we start off with Kylan and Jason, our favorite couple. So they are leaving the hospital and they had to stay 2 additional days after Kylan gave birth to Xavier. Now they are on their way home. Jason is very ecstatic about getting out of there. Of course, he thinks that the whole entire hospital staff was against him. No one listened to him. No one paid any attention to his wishes. And so he's just happy to get out of there. Where's his shirt, by the way? Like, what happened? What's going on here? Why are you getting into the car with no shirt? So they actually even had hospital security outside their door in case Jason started acting up again. And Kylan says that the hospital judged him based on his previous behavior, and that wasn't fair because he's not always, this big time jerk. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe he's not always a big time jerk, but he is always letting things get to him. And so he's always coming off like a big time jerk because every little thing bothers him. So the few rare moments, Kylan, that you have seen where he's not being a jerk, which I can't even fathom what they would be, because you seem to be his biggest irritant. And so if he's always around you, I have a feeling that, you're always irritating him. And I don't know exactly when he's sleeping, maybe that's when he's not a jerk, when he's fast asleep. I don't know. So she's very protective of Jason, and Jason does nothing but demean her. But she's gonna stay true to her man and be very protective of him. It's them against the world, and I think it's just that victim mentality that she has, because he has emotionally, psychologically abused her to the point where she can't really distinguish what's going on in real life. So that's all I can think of why is she why she defends him so much. It's because she's convinced herself that she loves him. This is, her boyfriend, and this is what she is supposed to do, is to defend him against the world. So as they're driving home, Jason says that he feels, in his confessional, he says that he feels very grown up because, he's driving his son home from the hospital and now he has precious cargo to consider. And he feels, very fatherly, very protective of his baby. Then they arrive at the parents' house, and when they arrived at Jason's parents' house, there was an issue with getting the car seat out of the car, and right there was a fight where he felt like Kylan was getting in the way of him trying to take the car seat out when all she was trying to do was just to help him. And I think, she's not mature enough to realize this, but when you're older and you're in a situation that's always causing you stress and anxiety, you get tired of feeling stressed out, and you get tired of the arguments, and you get tired of the anxiety. So you just try to remove yourself from the situation, and you just want to be surrounded by peace and calmness. And Kylan isn't there yet. She's at that point, I think, where she thinks that this is just normal couple behavior, not understanding at all that it's not normal. It's far from normal. And Jason's parents are at a point where they've obviously have given up on trying to change Jason in any way because he's not going to listen to them. And the older he gets, the more stubborn he is. So they have just basically, you can tell that they've washed their hands of the situation, because they're tired. They're tired of the arguments. They're tired of butting heads with him. The father says in his confessional that I hope Jason will be a great father, but at the present time, he's got no job and he's got no money. So, and I haven't heard Jason talk in depth about getting a job and being a provider for at least his son, if not for Kylan, but at least for his son. I haven't heard him talk about, what he wants to do, what he plans on doing, what he's looking into as far as, generating income. I have no idea. So now that they're home, they're in their room, and Jason's holding the baby, and Kylan wants to hold the baby that she just gave birth to, the baby that she has spent over 48 hours in labor with, the baby that, the birthing process, the laboring process has caused her so much pain. And, she went through hell and back to give birth to this beautiful baby. And all she wants to do is to hold him for a little bit and, snuggle with him and cuddle with him and give him hugs and kisses. And Jason's like, nope, that's not going to happen. Not on my watch. You will not be holding this baby. And she's literally begging him to hold her own son. And he tells her no. Simple as that. Nope, you're not going to hold him. And then he says something like, well, you can hold him, for the 3 a.m. feeding. And I don't know if he was serious or joking about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the only time that he allows her to interact with her own child is in the middle of the night when he's trying to get sleep, or early in the morning when he's trying to get his sleep. She has to deal with all of that. And then when he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, he wants his baby back. So there was a scene where Jason there was an issue with the formula. He calls his mother into the room and he tells his mother that the formula that they're currently using may not be good for the baby because he's constantly throwing up. And so he wants his mom to go buy a different type of formula. And there's a scene where he gets up and he's holding his baby and Kylan is sitting on the bed, and Kylan reaches her hands out to hold the baby, to take the baby from him. And he completely ignored her and walked across the room with the baby in his hands. He completely ignored her. So then the mother is like, you know what? I'm not going to keep buying formula for y'all. You're going to have to figure out how to buy your own formula or get on WIC. And he's like, whatever, just go get the formula that's not going to make him throw up. And I'm pretty sure she ran and did exactly as she was told to do because Jason is the one that controls everybody in that house. And in his confessional, Jason says that he has big trust issues with Kylan because he claims that she excluded him from every birthing decision. And he won't forgive her for that. And he feels very betrayed. So here we go. Because it didn't go the way he planned on it going. Now he's going to blame her for everything. And he is going to constantly guilt her, put this guilt trip on her for things going the way that they went, which was completely against his own wishes. And Kylan says, no, he told her first, you needed to put, she says to him in the confessional, she says to him, that's not how it went down. It didn't go down like that. I wasn't the one that was able to make, the decisions for myself because she had to listen to what the doctors and the nurses were telling her. And so he says to her, well, you need to put yourself in my shoes. And then she said, no, you need to put yourself in my shoes. And then she got up and she left. And he was like, cool, whatever, bye. Like he didn't really care. And through all of this, Kylan is still extremely protective of him. The whole issue of him not allowing her to hold the baby is obviously, signs of two major things: control, and I feel like, I'm going to come out here and say it, I feel like parental alienation. Like he wants to interfere with the bond between Kylan and her child. He doesn't care if Kylan bonds with their son at all. He doesn't care. He just wants to be the one to control the baby. And because of the fact that he had no control over the whole labor and delivery, he's going to make sure that he has full control over the rearing of the child. And he's going to make sure that Kylan has absolutely no say so because he feels like he was disrespected when his wishes were not taken into consideration when it came time to give birth to the child. And I have said this in my previous review that I think Jason sees Kylan just as this vessel that housed his son, helped his son grow for 9 months, and then, delivered the son into the world. And now basically he has no use for her. That's how I see it. He has no use for her because to not allow a mother to bond with the baby that she just gave birth to, and she wants to bond with her son, and to not allow that to happen, that is extreme abuse. That is extreme abuse on behalf of both the mother and the child. Like, how dare you not allow her to hold her son? Like, who in the world do you think you are? And how can the adults in the home allow this to happen? And it just boggles my mind how the four adults, the two sets of parents, cannot come together and concoct some type of a plan to separate these two. Obviously, it's not going to work with just telling Kylan, hey, this guy's not good for you. You need to break up with him, come back home. That's not going to work because the heart wants what the heart wants, and she wants Jason, and that's it. What they should do is just to kind of come up with some type of a plan for Kylan to leave that home and to go back to her parents' home. Like if it was me, I would tell Kylan, look, Kylan, something happened at my job. I got demoted. My salary was cut in half, or my salary was decreased significantly, and I'm just not going to be able to afford to take care of you, Jason, and the baby. And something's just going to have to give. So, starting next week, my checks are going to be kind of funny looking. So I'm sorry, Colin. I mean, I love you with all my heart. You're like a daughter to me, but this is just not going to work, and you might need to consider going back home. This is not to break up you and Jason, but I just can't do it. I financially cannot take care of this entire household the way I used to. Come up with something, whether it's true or not true, just to get Kylan back to her parents' house. And we don't foresee Jason getting a job anytime soon. So it's not like, they're going to just run off and get their own apartment and start living together in a couple of days. So it just boggles my mind how the four adults cannot come up with something for Kylan to get away from Jason. Now, even if they were successful in having Kylan move back in with her parents, how would they get the baby away from him? I mean, like, how would that happen? Because I don't think that Jason would voluntarily give the child over to Kylan if she were to go back to her parents' house. So how would that work out? I have no idea. But maybe when he's home alone with the baby, or he's without Kylan and there's no one to do the 3 a.m. feedings and the constant diaper changes in the middle of the night, and the baby crying in the middle of the night, early in the morning, maybe then he'll be willing to give the child to Kylan. But as long as she's living in that home, I don't see him changing at all. I just don't see it because he needs to have control over this situation, whether it's to be a good dad or not, whether it's to bond with his son or not. He just wants to exude control over something. He wants to be the one to make the decisions over something because he can't make decisions anywhere else. And he feels, disrespected. He feels ignored, especially with that whole labor and delivery process. So he's going to show y'all that when it comes to the raising of this child, it's going to be him that's going to lay down the law. And it's really, really sad. And I don't know what else to say about Colin and Jason. I don't know if they're going to come back next season. There's probably like this huge backlash with Jason coming back to Unexpected. So we may not see the outcome of it all and how all of this is going to play out since the tell all is next week. I just don't know how this is going to work out. Good luck to Kylan, and hopefully she's going to be able to bond with her baby, and hopefully the four adults involved will be able to do what's best for Kylan and Xavier. Moving on to Taylor and Noah. Okay, so Taylor had the baby. I don't know what else to say. Taylor had the baby. She gave birth. She was able to do it through COVID. She had COVID. The baby was born healthy, very healthy, 8 pounds, 10 ounces, 20.5 inches long. No signs of having COVID. I don't know what else to say because I don't even know why this couple is on this show. At the end of it all, Taylor says that she wishes her relationship with Tyra was different, that they were able to mend their differences because it would have been great to have her, as a support system since they both have children the same age now. They both just gave birth to their second child, but Tyra is not trying to hear any of that. So Taylor says, I'm not going to beg her, to be back in my life or to, communicate with me again because I have better things to worry about. But it is what it is. So good luck to Taylor and Noah. Moving on to Lily and Lawrence. So they're still at this wedding venue. So they're given a tour of the venue and everything is nice and beautiful and whatever. And it comes out. No. Okay. So let's talk about this first. So her mom, Lily's mom, she she doesn't want Lily to get married to Lauren. She thinks that it's way too soon. So she's asking Lily, are you sure this is really what you want to do? Are you sure, this is the right decision for y'all at this particular time? No, don't you want to wait? Don't you want to think about it a little bit more? And Lily in the confessional says, you and my grandmother have made me very afraid of getting married, so I really don't know. And then her mother is very quick to say, well, I don't want you to be afraid of getting married. I just want you to be, cautious about it and to really put a lot of thought into it. And I just don't understand. And I know that this is a very unpopular opinion. I don't understand what the big deal is about them getting married. I really don't get it, because they already live together. They're raising children together. Lawrence has stepped in as the father figure for Lily's daughter. No mention is that there's like absolutely no mention about that child's biological father. I have no idea if that guy's a part of the picture, if he's part of his daughter's life or not. I have no idea. I'm just going to have to assume that he's not. He stepped in, Lawrence has stepped in to be the father figure for Aaliyah. And I just don't understand like what the big deal is about them getting married. There is no guarantee to a long-lasting, healthy marriage. There is no guarantee. You can give people all the tools, all the skills, all the counseling in the world. At the end of the day, humans are still going to be humans, and they're still going to be driven by their emotions more so than their minds. So she has just as much chance of being married forever as anybody else on earth. There's no guarantee. There's nothing that there will never be a time when you can positively say, okay, now this is the right time this is the perfect time to get married, because I don't really see these people changing. I mean, Lily thinks it's healthy to argue the way that they argue. So there's not going to be any changes there. Because in the ideal situation, it would be, okay, if they learn how to communicate better, if they have less arguments and less blow-ups, maybe then that'll be the right time for them to get married. But Lily thinks it's absolutely normal the way that they argue, the way that they cuss each other out. So what's going to change? They're already living together. I don't understand. And if it doesn't work out, you can always get a divorce. And I don't know about any other state, but in the state that I live in, you can get a pro se, uncontested divorce for the cost of the filing fee. You don't even have to hire an attorney. If all the parties are in agreement that they don't want to be married anymore, and they're going to co-parent and raise the child or the children together as best they can, and they don't want child support from each other, you can have an uncontested divorce without an attorney, and it's only going to cost you the cost of a filing fee. There aren't any major assets, or you can do a prenuptial agreement and be like, whatever I came in with is what I'm leaving with, or it doesn't have to be that complicated, because I think raising children together, that's complicated enough. I don't understand why her mom is making such a big deal about them getting married. Because if it doesn't work out, you can go your separate ways. A lot of people even just separate. They don't even get the official divorce. They just go about their business, just leave. They just leave each other. I don't understand. But anyway, the wedding venue tells them that for 100 guests, it's going to be $15,000. So I don't know if they're going to do this or not. That seems like an awful lot of money for, for a couple like this. They're young. They're not making that much money. $15,000 for a wedding seems absolutely ridiculous to me, but whatever. I think they should just go to the courthouse, get it done over there, have a little party at her mother's house, and just be done with it if they really want to get married. And I really wish that we would have been spending this time watching Lily look for colleges, watching Lily figure out what career she wants to do, instead of being at this extravagant wedding venue for a wedding that's not even going to take place anytime soon, and it for sure won't take place at that venue. It was a complete waste of time. Tyra and Dee. So it is Ella's third birthday party, and they're going to have the party in Kentucky so they can be closer to their family. And Tyra said that she was sad that Adeline, which is Taylor's daughter, would not be there, but she was glad that Taylor wasn't going to be there because, she would have been pressured into trying to make up with Taylor, and she's not ready to do that yet. So Alex and his mom arrive at the birthday party. Tyra and her mom, which is also Tyra's mom, they don't really see it for Alex at all. They don't agree with Tyra spending another second with Alex. They don't understand that whole relationship because they feel like Alex did Tyra so dirty. Once again, it's kind of like the heart wants what the heart wants. Tyra wants to be with Alex. Tyra knows all the dirt that Alex did. So, and what I don't understand, I don't know if I'm missing something, but what I don't understand is Tyra left her family to go to college in another state. Was it in another state or was it another city? She went to college somewhere far away. And it looked like the way the show presented to us last season was that Alex was living with his grandmother and living with his daughter. And he was, doing the best he could, trying to, take care of his child while Tyra was gone. Fool lalling over there at whatever college, cheering, running after football players, or whatever the hell she was doing. So, what I don't understand is no one says nothing about that because it's all under the guise of she was trying to better herself for her daughter by getting her education. I felt like Tara just wanted a break from being a mom. And she just wanted to be a young, single college girl, cheerleading and doing all the fun stuff that she wasn't able to do, that she probably saw all of her other friends doing. And she really felt like she was missing out on something. And she wanted to capture that whole college life, single, young, free, having fun. She wanted to live that life. She wanted to experience that life because that's why she would have chosen to go to college so far away. Because the way I see it, once you become a parent, you sacrifice for your child. And yes, go to school, get an education, better yourself, but don't leave your child behind. You could have found a school within your town, within your city, where you could see your daughter every single day. You don't have to. The whole thing about her going to college, going so far away to college and leaving her daughter behind was ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. And so for people to get on Alex's case because he found another chick in Texas, I don't get it. I really don't understand it because number one, Tyra don't care now. She wants to be back with him. She feels like, she's the one that has his child. So she's the one that's, the more dominant female in his life, or however she's thinking of it. She has a kid with him. She wants to be with him. She's living with him voluntarily. So if Tyra is happy with him, why can't the rest of y'all just, get off her back about it? It just doesn't make any sense for them to be so judgmental about, how they don't agree with Tyra B. Unless they're not there's some information that we're missing. Because I'm still trying to figure out the timeline. Like, when did this other chick come into play? Was it after Tyra came back and her and Alex were supposedly back together and then he was cheating on her with some girl in Texas? Or did he meet the girl in Texas when she was away at college? Because when she was away at college, from my understanding, they really weren't together like that because they were having a lot of issues in their relationship. So they really weren't even committed to each other like that. And the show last season, when she was away in college, cheering, doing all that stuff, the show hinted at the fact that she was possibly considering dating someone else because they were kind of implying that she had her eye on some guy who was on the football team. So I'm not understanding why we're trying to crucify Alex because it seemed like their relationship was in shambles. It was a lot of confusion. It was a lot of disagreements. They weren't seeing eye to eye. He was upset about her leaving. She felt like this is what she needed to do for her life to better herself. So I don't even understand why we have to crucify Alex. I don't get it. So whatever, the way I see it now, okay, she's with him, she's living with him. When the producers asked her, so what's the status of your relationship now? And she was like, I don't know, girl, just say what it is. And then they're holding hands in their confessional. They're holding hands. Y'all are holding hands. Y'all are living together. He came to the birthday party and you were so excited about that. So y'all are together. What's the big deal? Y'all are together. And she says that she doesn't care what anybody has to say. She said that I support everybody else's relationships. I don't know why they can't support mine. So it is what it is. I don't understand why they hate Alex so much because I don't know exactly when this Texas chick came into the picture. Now, like I said, if they were living together and they were together, and then he was sneaking off to Texas to be with some other girl, then I can understand why they don't like Alex. But if it was during that gray area while she was out there cheering and he was home with the baby, and Tiara made it a point to say in one episode that, don't think that, Alex was being father of the year while Tyra was away at school, because he was, fool around here with other chicks. But then Tyra really wasn't into Alex at that time because they were having some major, I don't know. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I have no idea. But if Tyra, you're with Alex, you're happy with Alex. I'm happy for you. Hopefully, y'all can work it out whether or not he is the father of this Texas girl's baby. Y'all work it out. Make it do what it do. Good luck to all of y'all. So that is my review of Unexpected. I wish that we could have seen the outcome, like the true outcome of what life was like with what's his name, Jason and Kylan with baby, because we only saw them for a few hours after they came home. But I'm really interested, like as far as like watching the day-to-day life of them together with the baby. That is my review of Unexpected. And next week is the tell-all. I have no idea if I'm going to be reviewing it. It just looks very stress-inducing. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't like this content, don't worry about it. But thanks for stopping by anyway. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.